Hello everyone, my name is Druki Forever, and today we're playing a game called The Seven Wonders of Saint Clementine. Now this is a demo, so of course it's not the final product. As you can see there, it does contain disturbing content, so be wary. The boy opened his eyes, stupefied by the change of scenery outside. As the train was preparing to enter Shikaku Station, he found the scenery of the city he knew was gone, replaced by fresh countryside views. No more skyscrapers or crowded vehicles. Instead, there were only vast green fields decorated by innumerable varieties of trees and flowers alongside a bluish mountain range and a bright blue sky at its back. Just close my eyes and take a short nap, and then I'll be in paradise. The invitation he had received noted that someone would pick him up at the station when he arrived. One step closer. Wait for me, Mom. As the train was slowing down, he heard an announcement from a small loudspeaker above him. It started with a slow jingle and was followed by a standard announcing voice. The voice was a bit obscured by static, but Sei knew this had to be his destination, the Shikaku Station. He took his backpack and jumped off the train in excitement. Suddenly, however, he stopped abruptly. He had noticed something. The station was quiet, almost desolate. He was the only one who had gotten off at this station, in fact. The train he was in wasn't exactly full of people, but still, it made him ask himself, was I the only one on the train? No. I remember seeing others, I think. He thought of how quiet the train was, and a shiver ran down his spine. Sei immediately brushed off his wild thoughts as he heard a voice call out to him. Excuse me? A young girl approached him. With all due respect, are you Mazukami Sei? Her voice was a bit deeper than I expected it to be. It didn't match her young-looking body. Yes, I am. As he answered, the girl gave a cheerfully relieved smile. And who might you be? Her smile stayed in place. I'm Naru Yuka. She promptly reached out and held his hand, giving him a big handshake in the process. Nice to meet you, Sei. I'll be your homeroom teacher. Ah. Sei was going to ask if this baby-faced girl could really be his homeroom teacher, but he swallowed those words back. It was an inappropriate thing to say to a girl, no, a woman. Well, yeah, she is a lady, even if she looks so... He shook his head. Sei really had to convince himself. I'm terribly sorry, Sensei. I didn't, Someone was supposed to pick me up, but She laughed in the same cheerful manner as before. He figured she could probably tell what he was thinking. She probably had quite a bit of experience with people's awkward first impressions. Yes, I'm here to pick you up. Okay. He stuttered a bit, tripping over his words. You got everything with you need, right? Yes. Sei nodded. I brought everything I need. She noticed a small briefcase not too far behind Sei. That's quite the small briefcase. Are you going to live in with just that? Live in with just that? I think that's maybe a mess up. Nothing else? Sei cocked his head to the side. I shoved everything inside this briefcase nicely. You know, like folding my shirts into mini size and stuff. The cute lady giggled as Sei's hand frantically demonstrated how he folded the clothes with the air. You're funny. Sei raised his head and scratched the back of his head worriedly. Don't be so stiff. Relax, it's all okay. I'm just teasing a bit. She pointed off to the side. Now chop chop. With that said, she grabbed Sei's hand like snake snapping at its prey. Sensei moved so swiftly, Sei almost tripped over his own feet. Is everything alright? Why are we rushing? She stopped quickly, causing Sei to almost fall flat. Oh, well, I guess we aren't really in a rush. School starts tomorrow, and there's nothing much in this town. Sending your evening... I think that's spending? Is supposed to be spending? Your evening in a remote train station like this would be kind of pathetic, right? Sei scratched at the back of his head again. Right. Well, that's why then. I suppose we can take a detour, though. But didn't you just... What? Now you don't want to take your time? Well, She doesn't listen and instead tugs at Sei's hand. Over to the side where Yuka led him to, there was an overhead view of a peninsula. It looked down into the valley where the city was built up from. Yuka took a couple of ramuns and 2 seemingly mysterious paper bags from her trunk and handed them to Sei. What is that? Sei reached into the bag. Ah, Anko Tayaka. Yuka smiled. Do you like it? He nodded. I do. The paper bag managed to hide the smell of the red bean paste treat. I don't think it's possible for someone to hate Anko Tayaka. She smiled again and nodded. Enjoy. Ouch, it's still hot. Be careful, it's fresh from the oven. They enjoyed the sweet Anko Tayaka in silence, but the atmosphere quickly turned awkward. Sei sighed. Sensei, why are we here? She clearly didn't prepare herself for that kind of question. Sei, listen. He was a bit taken aback that she had used his first name already, a bit early for that, right? Are you the type that always forgets to go outside to breathe real air? Admittedly, he wasn't exactly the outdoors type. I bet the briefcase you brought was mostly filled with books, too. How could you guess? Yuka sighed deeply. It seemed like almost all the air left her body. Say, listen to me. As your homeroom teacher, being diligent is good and all. But listen, once in a while you have to close your book, raise your head, see your surroundings. Sei nodded. Now look over there. You can see the whole city from here. You don't seem to be that impressed. No, it's definitely mesmerizing. I mean, I saw some breathtaking scenery on the train, but this is something else. Well, that's a relief then. This would be the city he'd be living in. Between the vast range of mountain, clear blue sky, lush forest, there lay a small city. It blended strangely well with its surroundings. It was a paintbrush stroke on an otherwise all-natural canvas. So this is the city where Mom lived. Yuka cocked her head to the side. Did you say something? It's just... He sighed again. Huh? Did you say something? No, nothing. Just taking in the scenery. Indeed, it's not much, but it's beautiful, right? There, the block just on the edge of the forest. Can you see that? She pointed in the distance. Yeah. That's St. Clementine over there. Really? The whole block? The whole block. I heard it was huge, but it's different in person. It feels that different? Very much so. She smiled, enjoying her ramun in silence and letting Sei observe the scenery. The sky was clear and the breeze was nice. Yuka wanted to feel the air much more, but she knew they couldn't stay much longer. As she finished her ramun, a large grin blossomed on her face. Feeling better now? Oh, maybe she could tell I was a bit down before. Sei drank the rest of his ramun and nodded enthusiastically. Thank you, Sensei. I really appreciate it. She gave that cheerful smile again. Oh, by the way, Sei, can I ask you something? I'm sorry, it's a bit of an abrupt question. Of course. How are you with the, She raised her hands and gestured with her hands like she was telling a ghost story or something. The paranormal. That's, really abrupt. I told you, didn't I? I mean, I don't really know. I'm not sure I believe in anything like that. She looked surprised and maybe a bit disappointed after hearing his answer. There was a different type of smile on her face. It seemed like maybe she was intrigued. What of it? Nothing really, I'm just asking. Ghost stories travel far in small towns, they say. Alright, let's go to school then. It seems like we used up a bit too much time here. Thank you, Sensei. No problem. Now we definitely gotta head to the school. Most of your belongings, besides that small briefcase, should be at your dormitory room. You'll still need to arrange them yourself once you arrive. And please be nice to your roommate, will you? I don't think you're the type to pick a fight, but still. She sighed. Was there something wrong? The sun was already set when they arrived at the school gate. The main gate was tall and made from a glossy iron. I usually say iron. I don't know why I said iron. Decorated with, that's spelled wrong, antique pattern carvings on every parts of its body. I think that every part. Greeneries peeked from behind sturdy trunks, although it was a bit hard to see without more lighting. Whoa. Well, how does it feel to finally be here? It definitely feels nice. And you haven't even seen everything yet. It's too bad it's already nighttime, though. Sei looked at everything with curious eyes, and Yuka couldn't help but notice, that's got an extra D on it, her new student's excited face. She suddenly stopped the car, pressing down on the brakes. Are we already there? She shook her head and gave her usual smile. Sei, you can explore the school for a while if you really want to. You look so curious about everything here. I somehow feel like I've been here before. Somehow? Some fuzzy memories. Are you some kind of amnesiac or something? No, of course not. Maybe I was really young when I visited here or something. I'm just kind of nostalgic is all. Well, do you want to explore the school or not? Might be kind of weird to wander around at night. It said wonder. Her tone seems a bit different from before. Can I really do that? I guess so, but I have to remind you that the school ground is quite large. Don't stay out too late or get lost. What are you going to do, Sensei? Good question. I'll probably park my car over near the dorms. Oh, let me also tell you, if you want to take a walk around the school for a while, you should start with the main building over there. You'll spend most of your time there anyway. Now, I don't know if you're actually encouraging me to explore or not. Well, I think that'll be okay. Like I said, it's weird to wander at night, though. Well, can I? I suppose, but remember, don't get carried away. You still have a lot to do back in your own room. Don't exhaust yourself. Tomorrow's your first day, after all. Sensei, before you go, what time is the curfew? 8 o'clock. Don't even think you can get past curfew without expecting something. Something? The ghost, of course. Ghost? How boring. You should have reacted more to that one. No, really, I'm definitely scared. He rolled his eyes. What's with that reaction? Sorry. It's like I said earlier about ghost stories. You see, there's specifically some mysteries around school. They call them the 7-1... Oh, dear Lord, look at the time. Sei, I really need to go now. You'll be fine on your own, right? Sei nodded. Yes. Remember not to pass the curfew and be nice to your roommate. That's wrong. I will. Thank you, Sensei. She stopped the car and her head pops out of the window. The male dorm is the blue one. Okay. She gave one thumbs up and drive her car away. Drive her car away? She's oddly motherly. He bowed as the vehicle moved away. As the car disappeared from his sight, Sei started to wonder where he should start. He looked around and walked down the first path in sight. Later that night. The school grounds were relatively calm, but there was still some kind of strange overarching feeling. There was a peculiar atmosphere the school gave off. It was the combination of the European-style buildings and the fact that the buildings had been worn down by the ages. Elegant yet mysterious. Majestic yet lonely. The stillness was definitely unsettling. Maybe it was the lack of students. Sei was still walking, but his eyes fell on a footpath on the grass behind bushes. The footpath exposed the ground below. It gave Sei a hint that the path had often been used until recently. The width of the path was narrow and inconsistent further down. Definitely makeshift, perhaps not something public. I wonder where this path heads to. The downward path definitely led further into the forest. The atmosphere grew from peculiar to dark and more overtly mysterious. A series of images ran through Sei's mind. All of those mysterious sightings inside the forest. Sightings is spelled wrong. People always claim to see ghosts, just like what Yuka Sensei had said. Darkness tends to fuel people's imagination, though. When there's nothing there, people's minds always fantasize to fill the void. Human needs something to stimulate their mind, to stimulate the concept of living. The concept of nothing is... Sei stopped and sighed, recollecting himself. Well, I have no light with me. I don't want to risk anything. I guess I'll just explore the school little by little instead. That way. A normal way. The main building will probably be locked anyway. Maybe I'll just start over there. Sei made his way down a well-lit road, leading him to a chapel. The top of the building was quite the contrast to the night sky on the horizon. The roof was a striking red color compared to the blackness of the night sky. The building wasn't necessarily the most beautiful building he had ever seen, but it has its own uniqueness and was definitely captivating. He then proceeded to try and open the door, but the door was locked. He was pretty disappointed with himself. Of course it would be locked. Why would a chapel be open at night? Sei's eyes danced around and found another footpath beside the building. It led back down into the nearby forest. It looked similar to the other footpath that he found before. At this angle, the moon was so bright that he could see the path ahead. Oh well, here goes nothing. He took a turn into the path. Following the path brought him to a place that dazzled his eyes. A garden filled with endless, I think that A is needless, endless varieties of colorful flowers bathed in the moonlight. It felt like he had been transferred to a different dimension. On his right side, there was a pond hiding behind a curtain of fresh bamboo clumps. Its crystal-like water bathed in the moonlight as well, glimmering like a thousand of diamonds sat on its surface. In the middle of the pond, a rock wrapped within a huge rope and talisman sat alone. Some of this stuff's starting to get a little nonsensical. What's with that rock? He tried to move closer, attempting to get a better look. An ancient Japanese shrine in a Catholic school? Sei was sure that the ancient shrine was there for a reason. There was some sort of hypothesis already formulating in Sei's mind, but he didn't have enough information. He didn't want to draw a baseless theory. He looked around a bit more. There ahead of him, a Virgin Mary statue of about half Sei's height stood on a pedestal. At a glance, the Virgin Mary statue was your usual icon, but upon closer inspection it had a kind of unusual pose, certainly different than how Catholics tend to depict Mary. It didn't hold a baby, and the gesture was different. It looked as if it was pointing at something. Sei inspected the statue closer. Something immediately caught his attention. Though the hands pointed down, the statue definitely seemed to be looking at the sealed stone. It piqued Sei's interest, and he moved closer to the statue. Even though it gave him goosebumps, Sei really had to admit that the statue was masterfully made. The statue was meticulously crafted down to the very last detail, wrinkles of the clothes and the expression down to its muscle. At the focal point of the statue were eyes that intently looked down upon the sealed rock. But why? That was certainly not a careless mistake or an accident. Sei's gaze moved back and forth between the statue and the rock. Between has an extra T. A Catholic symbol looking at a Japanese ancient shrine? This time his eyes were fixed on the sealed rock. What? The statue seemed to start moving. Tap Z. Sei thought about how alive the statue was. In fact, it wouldn't even like such a strange thing if the statue was to start moving. Okay. What? It wouldn't even like such a strange... Okay. He immediately turned around. But that's impossible. He stopped his sentence as he saw a movement. A large, abrupt movement. A blurry image of the ominous statue was etched to his mind. He kept both of his eyes open. Sei had to make sure he wasn't blinking. What the... Then he blinked as many times as he could. Nothing was changing. Nothing was happening. Gosh, maybe it's just my eyes playing a trick on me. He turned again to the sealed rock. There was nothing there still, no matter what his mind said. Sorry guys, I had to take a quick drink here. A lot of dialogue. Let me put one of my little lozenges in my mouth. That'll hopefully keep my mouth wet. A lot of talking. Whew. I guess that's that then. He looked down at his watch as he re-entered the main campus grounds. I believe I still have some time. He turned around and looked at the empty main road which encircled the school complex, then tightened his grip on his backpack. Tightened is very wrong. He was going to run his way up into the dorm when someone suddenly shouted at him. Hey you! What are you doing at a time like this? And it said at time like this. Oh, of course it's a woman. A well-endowed girl with a ponytail was quickly speeding towards Sei. The feeling she gave off was much different than what Yuka-sensei had given Sei. There was a killing glare like a lioness hunting down her prey. Sei couldn't be helped but shrivel back in confusion. By the look of her uniform, Sei deduced that she must be some kind of senior with authority of some sort. "You know it's past." "I'm sorry." Sei didn't give her time to scold him much further, instead just blurting out the first thing on his mind. "I got late here and I didn't get much information regarding school. I just want to explore a bit of the campus." Silence filled the air. Bowing down quickly, Sei could no longer see the troubled expression on the girl's face. Okay, raise your head. Thank you for your explanation." Her tone was still cold. "Do you know about the curfew time?" "Yeah, I know. I'm heading back to the dorm now." I see. You must be the late train student. Yeah, I heard you might be here later than usual. It's Mazukami Sei. I'm Akawa Riko? Akawa Riko, the vice president of St. Clementine's Student Council. Sei nodded. If you're thinking about if I'm going to reprimand you, then the answer is yes. It's dangerous to go at night like this, especially alone. What were you thinking? He thought about if he should mention Yuka-sensei, but it was probably more trouble than it was worth. I'm sorry, I should have been more careful. How did you even get here? I mean, is there no one accompanying you? She seemed more annoyed than anything. Taking a deep breath, Sei tried to explain about his trip there. I see. Well, if that's the case, I can maybe excuse it this time, for now. A thought crossed Sei's mind suddenly. How about you, Vice Prez? Are you patrolling alone? If it's so dangerous? There was a sudden silence. No words came out of her mouth. Her eyes wandered into the void. Something seemed to occupy most of her mind. The question certainly caught her off guard. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Now, Mizukami, you need to go back to the male dorm. I've finished patrolling, so I'm going back as well. Yeah. Of course. Be careful on your way back. What are you saying? It's the same way. We're heading back together. What? The dorms are next to each other, after all. Oh. Of course. Sometime later. Surprisingly, the dorm room was neat and clean. There were two sides of the room. Each looked exactly like the other, as if there was a mirror, a desk, and a single bed stuck into the wall. Again, it was surprisingly neat. After what Yuka had said, Sei was a bit taken aback by the tidiness of the room. He had expected something else. Thank God, I didn't think he'd be this clean. What was his name again? Kurakawa? Yuto. Yeah, that's right. Yuto. Kurakawa Yuto. Yep, that's me. You? What, did you think I was a ghost or something? Too bad, it's me, Yuto. He puffed out his chest with thumbs pointing at himself. I could already tell he was certainly a character. So, you must be the victim of that delayed train. I mean, I suppose? Well, glad to see you're alive, I guess. From today on, we'll be roommates, dude. Glad to see I'm alive? What kind of joke is that? Okay, I'll look forward to it. My name is Mizukami Sei. Okay, Sei, let's get along together. Yuto gave his friendliest smile. It was sincere, but still exuded a tough aura. This guy's structure was built taller than Sei. His body was built like a tank or something. Don't be so tense, dude. Relax. He laughed and slapped Sei's back, almost sending him to kiss the floor. By the way, Kurakawa, just Yuto is fine. Okay, Yuto. Sei pointed to a small briefcase by Yuto's side. Tell me, what's with that briefcase? Oh, Yuka-sensei handed this to me on my way here. Here you go, dude. He quickly stuffed the briefcase into my hands. Thank you very much. Sorry for the trouble. I must have forgotten to take it with me. Don't be so formal. Like I said, relax. It's all good. Sei raised his arm and scratched the back of his head again awkwardly. I think I've lost count on how many times I've told to be relaxed. That sentence is all kinds of wrong. Oh, actually, what are you going to do with these boxes? Hell, what's even inside those boxes? Not much, just some books and stuff. Books and stuff, huh? I'd ask which side you want, but, well, I took the left side already. Hope you don't mind. It's okay, I'm fine with whichever side. Yuto took a few steps toward the boxes on the right side. Here, I'll help you with the boxes. What? No, you don't have to, it's okay. Let's just say that I'm doing this to balance things out. I feel like you'd probably help anyway. Good eyes, Say, good eyes. Both of them laughed together. I'll take your offer then. Let's get started. Later. Whew, I guess that's all. Thanks, Yuto. No problem. They managed to stack the boxes over on Say's side of the dorm. Hell, dude, what did you shove into these boxes? Say laughed a bit. I told you, books and stuff. Just check it yourself and see if I'm lying or not. The green light had been lit, and Yuto began actively opening the boxes excitedly. Say had to admit that he was glad he could coerce Yuto into helping him open the boxes. As he was opening the boxes, however, Say looked out at the window, which emitted a slight breeze. The air from outside drew Say closer to it. Immediately, an old building near an abandoned pool came to his sight. It emitted an eerie aura that kept his eyes glued to it. His mind went blank, and his vision began to fade. Where am I? I thought I heard someone's voice. I thought heard someone's voice is wrong, so I put the extra I in there. Say. What? That voice? Say, here. It's me. Mom? Is that you? Say. Wait, Mom, don't go. Mom. Say jumped backwards as he came back to his senses, almost falling to the ground. Say, are you okay? Ah! Yeah. I'm fine. You're sweating, dude? Just tired is all. Yuto gave him a look of disapproval. If you say so. What were you looking at, anyway? Walked over to the window and followed Say's line of sight. Oh, the abandoned pool down there? You know something about it? He shrugged. Hardly. You curious about it or something? Not really, it just caught my attention. Say took a breath and turned away from the window. He checked his watch again. Oh god, look what time it is. We should really get some rest. Yuto chuckled a bit to himself. Man, time sure flies. God, I don't want to get up tomorrow. We really shouldn't be late for tomorrow. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, by the way, can I keep this blind mask? If you don't need it, I mean, I found it in one of your boxes. Huh? Sure. I don't really remember bringing that, though. He chuckled more to himself and paraded the mask around proudly. I'll take it as payment for the labor of opening your boxes. Alright. Yuto looked at the mask again before placing it down on his side of the room. Well, good night, dude. See you tomorrow. Say looked back out the window once more, which still emitted a slight draft. Yeah, good night. This is the end of the demo. Please look forward to the full game. Alright. There you go, guys. 7 Wonders of St. Clementine, a horror thriller visual novel. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you want to try it for yourselves, even though there were no decisions or anything, you can try it on Steam. Check it out. See what you think. Well, if you like this video, tell that like button you want to smash. And don't forget to subscribe. You stay you, I'll stay me, Droogie forever. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Later.